You have found the Jordy Culotta Show right here on YouTube. We go live Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. on the campus of Click Here Digital in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where we serve up premium LSU content. Hard-hitting guests, opinions that you can find Monday through Friday. If you want that, subscribe right here on the link that you see below. Coach Kelly, we're official.
Finally,
I'm
get a
telling
chance to meet you.
Thought I had to get a private audience with the Pope. There's Jordy.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Tearing up, answering the question, and I thought, my God, if she gets offered this job, she's going to take it.
It's just a crazy, fun time at LSU right now. Isn't this what everybody loves?
From the boot to the east to the west coast, no matter where we at, we open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show, yeah.
Let's go! Let's go! All right. Big start. Big day. Nice start.
It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Thank you for the time. Shay Dixon here with us on this Thursday. Huge recruiting weekend for the Tigers, as they'll have a lot of people in town. Let's talk all about it with our friend Shay here on this Thursday morning. Shay D, good morning. How are you?
What it do?
All right, so great stuff on On3. The podcast was fantastic. You can find all the coverage online at on3.com and follow Shay on Twitter at Shay Dixon, who covers it for On3. Wrap it up. Tell me what you saw. And I don't want to spend a lot of time on Florida State.
I'm about to fall asleep right here. That CB got this seat warm for me.
Yes,
It's comfortable. I need guests before me. That helps.
That's right.
You sure it's not BK seat?
A little warm. I try not to make any massive, sweeping general.
Sure. You're not like us.
Is that what we've been doing?
Like this show. I mean,
I
very
try to
emotional.
keep it even keeled. I understand that Florida State will be one of the best teams they play. I understand that if I say that to someone, is there solace to take in an LSU fan hearing, okay, we're 24 points than the worst, than the best team we play? Does that make you feel any better? No, but I'm not sure if they were 24 points worse. Unraveled on a half. The thing I left the game the most shocked, like they couldn't run the ball last year. Am I surprised they couldn't run it this year? No. They were such an elite second half team. They were so great at halftime adjustments. They were always the ones who came out in the second half as the team that looked better. So for that to be flipped to that degree was wild to me.
Mm-hmm. What'd you make of the quarterback?
I mean, it's down the list for me. It's back to that reality of like, okay, if you didn't have him, what would happen? He was your only positive rushing yards. I don't know. I mean, I've seen Nussmeier too. They could put him in there. I'm not sure what would be all that different, but maybe I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They can't run the football.
Yeah. It's wild, right?
Like if Nussmeier gets in there, that takes away the quarterback run threat. Now they really know you can't run the football. That blows my mind.
Is that more on running back, or did you think offensive line? Because
Kelly always seems to think it's offensive line. I'd have to think it has to do some running back. It's got to be a combination.
Yeah,
right?
I would just mention that because a lot of people have been talking about freshmen, and you obviously covered Lance Hurd, and I didn't know if that was going to be maybe a quick fix you see sooner rather than later.
I guess if number 70 is getting called out on the interwebs, I mean, they were saying it on the broadcast that after the very first drive that Jared Verse came over and was like, we're going to whoop that side. Like, no chance.
I mean, if you rewatch the film, you could see like a couple of the runs is kind of on the running back. It's not on the.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
not
a little
on
bit
the
of everything.
Yeah, I just was more interested in Shea because he covered him in recruiting, and it's one of the buzzwords that's been going around is Lance Hurd might be getting some run.
Yeah,
because
and they showed it in scrimmages. Right tackle, Emery's more of a natural guard. He'd be the right guard, and that's an option. I would be floored if Zalance wasn't out there getting some reps this weekend.
Were you surprised to not see more of new faces last week?
No.
Okay.
I think they must have viewed it as a spot to where it's let's go with the vets, the guys we trust. So no, I wasn't too surprised.
So going into the weekend, they caught some bad news with Dominic McKinley that he was pledging to Texas A&M. I know that you were
God, that was only a week. Yeah, okay.
right. I mean, that hadn't even been a week tomorrow. I know that you were projecting that he was not going to end up at LSU. In fact, I believe you said here on your last Wednesday that you had him going to A&M. He pledges to A&M, and LSU misses another defensive lineman in state. What's going to happen here with defensive line recruiting? Because it feels like now, after Simmons after missing on McKinley and looking at the board, how close are they to desperate here?
You've got to get a couple of guys, and they do. They have Demarion Johnson and Ahmad Bro. You've got to get a couple more. Gabe Relifer's really good at Evangel. He's going to visit this weekend, but he's committed to A&M. So you try to flip him by signing day. Obviously, they'll work on McKinley. And there's other guys around the state. Jordan Guidry at Ruston is committed to Tulane, but he's got a lot of schools watching him right now because they're probably the best defense in the state, arguably. Ahmad Bro's on it, so LSU will have a close eye on him. There'll be guys that pop up, but to me, it all comes back down to a lack of continuity across 7-8 years now of you've had the same D-line coach one time. That was Bill Johnson 5 years ago. So if every year you're bringing someone in to recruit kids the offseason before their senior year, it's too late. Does not bode well in recruiting. These kids blow up as sophomores. By juniors, they have great relationships with everyone. By the offseason of their senior year, they're trying to decide, not trying to get to know somebody. Mm-hmm. And that's the reality of the situation they're in.
So it seems in talking to people up around LSU that they've put a lot of emphasis on Relaford, Gabe Relaford, the big defensive tackle
He's
from up north.
He's a very good player, and he will be here this weekend. And he had called LSU his dream school, all that, but they didn't offer till over the summer. And at that point, he was already committed to A&M. So kind of playing from behind the eight ball, which you don't want to be doing. And I think that's why they're going to make a lot more of a concerted effort to offer kids in Louisiana early. Mm-hmm. Don't wait till camp, not wait until this, that, or the other. If we can get verified measurements, if we can see the kid in person, if we've seen his film, and we feel good about it, we're making the move, which is what you have to do that.
Dominic McKinley, is it over?
No, nothing's over till signing day, but he's so quiet. He doesn't want to do much with his recruitment that he's not going to make any other visits that's not potentially driving 30 minutes down the road to LSU. Like, he's not going to give Ohio State another look or Texas or Oklahoma. So the only school that will have a shot is LSU. We'll see how it goes.
How much of a priority was he? How much of a priority does he remain?
Big. Let's not sugarcoat it. They wanted him.
Yeah.
I mean, they offered him back in January. They hosted him multiple times. They fought to get him back for the Bayou Splash, and it just got away from him. And again, you can look at every single year throughout the past 20 years. They've never gotten all of the top 10. It hasn't happened. They've never swept. Typically, it's been Bama who gets in there, A&M most recently, now Texas the past couple of years. So they're not expected. I don't expect them to get everyone each year. What stings is that McKinley's the top ranked player in the state. Mm-hmm. You know, Arch was last year. Well, you weren't getting Arch anyways. Well, Derek Williams was too. Well, he went to Texas as well. So you always want to get 8, 9, 10 of the best players in the state, and they do that. What stings is not when you lose maybe the 10th or 11th best player, but when you lose the guys who are ranked 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. And that's what you kind of want to reverse the trend of.
This is a big weekend in recruiting, right?
Yeah, no officials, but they will have Relaford, as I said. The Duncanville boys are coming back in, which then means they're on bye, which means are we keeping an eye on if Colin Simmons pops up on campus, because he had been originally set to visit this weekend. Now DeCorian Moore and Durham and them are coming over. We'll see if Colin Simmons pops up or not. A lot of commitments will be there. A lot of guys for next year will be there. And then some kids that they're kind of have an eye on for potential senior year offers. Bernard Causey, a corner over at John F. Kennedy in New Orleans. I mentioned Guidry at Ruston. So it'll be a nice mix. It'll be a nice mix of guys. But the watch will be to see if the Duncanville kids are coming, does Colin Simmons come? We'll see.
You think he will?
I don't know. I think that kid will do whatever he feels like doing. Mm-hmm. So we'll see about it. But I know that right now DeCorian Moore and Caden Durham will be there.
DeCorian Moore is having it
Yeah.
phenomenal start to his junior year.
He had
right?
an amazing first game. He'll put up some massive. I think he's already halfway to his totals from a year ago, and they won state, and he was the best receiver on the team. So he will have some, and he's only a junior. He's got 2 years of tearing it up. He will finish a 5-star, number 1 or 2 receiver in the country. Hold on tight.
Obviously, last week the defensive backfield is under the microscope. Wardell Mack's name pops back up for recruiting fans on where LSU stands with him, if they can make a late push here. What is the status of Mack and where LSU sits?
Yeah, he's committed to Florida, but he's more of a safety, and that's where LSU's recruiting him at. They like him at safety. I think your issue right now is corner, and that you have not recruited anybody to develop them, and now you're stuck in this cycle of relying on transfers. And Mekhi Garner and Bernard Converse bailed them out in a major way last year. Like, if you're not getting that from Deuce Chestnut and Zy Alexander, then there's going to be a fall off. I mean, they returned 1 scholarship cornerback, LaTerrence Welsh. They signed 1 true corner, Jeremiah Hughes. They've been moving guys like Ashton Stamps from safety to corner. Like, that's not going to get it done. So they do have a very good corner class right now. They've got Andre Evans, Kai Bates, Juwan Johnson. These guys are all 4 stars. Wallace Foster at the nickel. So you've got guys who are still going after others, but they don't even get here till next year. Like, you're going to be stuck in this cycle right now that ain't good for business. I mean, that's not DBU.
Help me out here. How did DBU get here? Was it simply like the Corey Raymond transition? They've just never been able to catch back up, or how has it gotten to this point? Because for so long, I guess we took it for granted. They were rolling 1 superstar a year out. I mean, they always had that dude. Is it just the narrative has changed in recruiting, or it's just that's what happens when you change coaches?
I mean, it's a little of that's what happens when change coaches. We forget that for 2 years leading into when these guys would be on roster, they were a 500 football team. They had their first losing season since '99. They did not retain Raymond. Like, there was a lot in there that sort of makes you less than desirable, and now you're relying on Steeples to kind of pull you out of it. And that first class, he only signed 1 corner. Well, this class, he's loaded up on them. So they're moving in the right direction. We knew, anyone who was paying attention knew this would happen. I said it a million times. Right when he took this job, they didn't have any corners, so it was going to be a multi-year rebuild. Multi, you hope, means 2. It looks like it's going to go beyond that. They need some young kids on this team to step up. Ashton Stamps or whomever it is. You've got to start developing some young corners. That it looks so far from what the norm is that it's wild.
No.
Is that why you think that Brian Kelly's made the decision already with Denver Harris to go from not dressed and not with the team to available?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what available means, though.
That's what I said, too.
What is?
But, I mean, that's better than not.
Can you help me out on this?
Not alive.
Not
when
available.
Harris gets on the field,
Unavailable.
where would he be in the pecking order of defensive backs?
Well, we thought he was supposed to be the best. I mean, coming out of high school, he's ranked higher than any kid they have on their roster at DB. Like, did he forget how to play football? Or is there so much going on that you just can't play? Like, if we let him get on the field, we're letting him get away with X, Y, and Z, and what does that message send to everyone else? To me, then why is he on the team?
I agree.
Yep.
I agree. I mean,
because I guess if you hear this, we have a standard, we have guys we recruit, they have to fit. Well, and then you take a risk on a Denver Harris, you're not ever going to play him. Like, what's the point? Mm-hmm. And I don't know all the details. He could be not living up to any end of the bargain. But if that were the case, then why is he on the team? Why are you leaving everyone guessing why your best player is on the bench? Not even on the bench. Didn't even travel. Not even on your 53-man.
Not in the team picture.
No. And he never got anything more than third-team reps in camp. He was never an 11-on-11. So, like, it's not like Brian Kelly's tricking us. Like, he didn't run first team all fall and then, like, disappear. They don't put him out there. So what's the word? Like, I doubt it's that he's not good at football. I have no other answer other than that. I have no clue. It's interesting.
What's it been like for coaches now that they've been able to visit and get on campuses? For people, I know that Frank Wilson was at that Acadiana,
Yeah, they went down to the Acadiana game.
LCA game where Jawan Johnson just went.
He's so good.
Jeez. Where are they going to play him?
Corner.
Corner?
I think that they'll get more out on the road here. Like tomorrow night, they'll be out on the road some. And then as you get into the season, the bye week, everyone goes on the road. So you can only see kids twice. So you kind of split it up by checking some guys out early and then later on in the season.
Kobe Black, Chili asks, hashtag Ask Shay. Kobe Black, is he no longer interested in LSU?
Yeah, he was going to take an official this weekend. He's not anymore. I think that they rightfully realized they would go down a road where ultimately a Texas school would step up. I think he's going to Texas. So if you sense that interest isn't there, don't be done with it then. Don't chase this down to where you sit in the final two and you don't get him when you could be putting that focus on other kids.
How many LSU interested prospects will be on the sideline of Alabama-Texas this weekend?
You know, I didn't see that visitor list yet, but it's interesting. LSU and Bama are not going for a lot of the same kids this year. It's more LSU, Texas, and A&M. So being at Bama, it's going to be most of their kids, so I wouldn't think it's going to be a massive crossover. Like if that game were in Austin, there would be a lot of kids there that LSU is after. But more so they're being at Bama, it's not as much, which is, I know sounds weird, but just with how things are unfolding now, Texas and A&M are becoming LSU's competition for more guys than Bama.
Is that NIL?
Geographic, I think. And Texas coming to the SEC allows them to have that pitch. Like they were losing kids a lot because it was like,
pitch?
We got the SEC pitch, y'all got a Big 12 pitch, and that's why they're like doing all they can to leave the conference. So now that they have that pitch, it puts them in it with more kids.
What's coming up on On3 for game day coverage as far as being at home? You guys did a great job on the road last week.
Checking out all these kind of recruits react. We didn't do it last week. We didn't have much of a reaction from recruits that I don't think anybody wanted to hear from. But this will be a good game because a lot of the recruits get to see the young guys get in, and obviously a couple Louisiana schools. And, we'll kind of get a feel for what everybody thinks. And this 24 class is shaping up to where they only have 4 or 5 more guys they'll probably add. So a lot of the focus is turning to next year. Keelan Moses and all those kids.
Shay Dixon,
juniors.
On3 from the Bengal Tiger. You can find him there and on, as always, on Twitter at Shay Dixon. Appreciate you fighting the traffic, dog.
Dog, we good. I'm glad I saw CB here.
Yeah.
He's always got a story or two.
That's right. That's right. All right, we'll be back with you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Brought to you daily by RMB Builders.
Thanks for tuning in to our premium LSU content right here on YouTube. If you want more of it, subscribe below.